The low birth weight paradox. Today everybody knows that smoking causes lung cancer. But it wasn't so obvious in the 1950s and took nearly a decade to resolve this debate. Even after the smoking and cancer debate died down, a major puzzling paradox remained. In the mid-1960s, it was pointed out that a mother's smoking seemed to have benefits for her newborn baby if the baby was born underweight. This so-called birth weight paradox was a major challenge to the emerging medical consensus about the harmful effects of smoking and took more than 40 years to resolve. In 1959, Jacob Yerushalmi, a biostatistician at the University of California at Berkeley and also an opponent of the smoking causes cancer hypothesis, launched a long-term public health study that collected data on more than 15,000 children in the San Francisco Bay Area. The data included information about mothers' smoking habits, the birth weights and mortality rates of their babies in the first month of life. It was well known that low birth weight, LBW, infants, defined as less than 2,500 grams at birth, have a mortality rate more than 20 times higher than that of normal birth weight infants. Babies of smoking mothers weigh less at birth than babies of non-smokers. It would seem natural to assume this lower birth weight, LBW, would lead to poorer survival. Yet, what Yerushalmi found was surprising. The LBW babies of smoking mothers had a better survival rate than those of non-smokers. It was as if the mother's smoking had a protective effect. Yerushalmi was not silly enough to make this absurd claim, but he stated that there is no causal link between smoking and mortality. But this seems odd and counterintuitive. And it is just plain wrong. Modern epidemiologists believe that smoking does increase infant mortality. But how can the data be explained to make it more concrete? We can look at a more recent dataset of over 3 million children born in the US in 1991 presented in this paper Birth Weight Paradox Uncovered, which observed the same thing that Yerushalmi did 50 years ago. BTW. If you find this paper full of jargons and hard to read, I did too, but bear with me, I'll make it clearer. Overall, infants born to smokers had higher risks of both LBW and mortality than infants born to non-smokers. But among LBW infants, the mortality rate was lower for infants born to smokers. You can see in this plot below that the switch happens around 2000 G. I can't find the raw data for this paper, so I try to simulate in this table. While the overall mortality rate of the smoker mother group, 3 plus 3, 55 plus 445, equals 1.2% is greater than that of the non-smoker mother group, 10 plus 11, 150 plus 2350, equals 0.8%. You can see in the LBW group, infants of smoker mothers have lower mortality rate, 5% versus 7%. Using causal diagrams, the authors finally uncovered the reason behind this paradox. Smoking may be harmful and contributes to LBW, but there are other more serious and harmful causes of LBW such as genetic defects or malnutrition. If the mother is a smoker, this explains away the LBW and reduces the likelihood of a serious birth defect. If the mother is not a smoker, it is likely that the cause of the LBW is a serious birth defect which leads to higher mortality. The presence of these unmeasured risks